Just threw the ball by Aaron Allen, but he stuck pretty much with the fastball, and it seems like they're getting to them. New Ulm is getting to him right now.
Well, here's the number 8 man in the batting order, Jim Leslie. And the first pitch to Leslie is a strike call. Ball 1 to Leslie, who has been out on a ground ball off the foot of Schweitzer, which carried him to Kamenetsky in the 3rd inning, and then reached on an error by Kamenetsky in the 4th. And the pitch is outside to him. It's 2-0. Rick Wellman would be on deck. There's still only 1 man out. And over at third base is Russ Trawick. Swing and a miss. It is 1-2. 2 outs. Keith Winschittle was the second out. Allen struck out, and that's been the 2 outs. And right now we've got Leslie lays off the high fastball. And it is 2 balls and 2 strikes. A big run down at third base. And the pitch on the way. Outside, and it is 3-2 now to Jim Leslie.
It's got to be discouraging when you come in with your ace and he gets tattooed like he has here.
And the pitch outside for ball 4. Second walk off of Belinda, who has struck out 1 here. And now we are going to get Todd Paff, who will bat for Rick Wellman in the 5th inning here. So Paff will bat for Wellman, which means now New Ulm is running shy a little bit here in the outfield department. I believe that would leave just Kurt Forbrook as an outfielder with Ginn Hurt, and with Wellman coming out here, they do have Bobby Sellner. Now I don't know what Bobby's prowess is in the outfield, but he would, I believe, would be the only other outfielder left. Winschittle can play the outfield as well, but then you'd have the third base situation. So I don't know. Paff here is up here batting for Wellman, and I, quite frankly, don't know who will be going to right.
I think it will probably be Forbrook.
Well, Todd Paff up here with a chance. With runners at the corners, and the throw to first to catch Leslie, or to check Leslie. Paff went 1 for 4 in the state tournament. He's got 1 homer and 10 RBIs, 24 for 79, but he's got 6 doubles and 2 triples. If he gets a hold of one, he can get it out of here. Runners at the corners, and the pitch, fastball, strike called.
That wind is not a factor at this time. The flag is laying dead in center field, so if he does get it out of here, he's going to have to supply his own power.
Right-handed batter, right-hander against right-hander. Runner goes, pitches outside, and it'll be uncontested stolen base as Franks had to almost dive out to keep that ball from going to the backstop, and Jim Leslie is in with stolen base number 5 for the season for him, and now you have got Trawick on at third base, Leslie on at second, and the pitch, strike call, fastball on the outside corner, nice pitch by Belinda. It is 1 ball and 2 strikes.
New Ulm needs a base hit right here at this point.
Well, I'll tell you,
up by 4.
Yep. Belinda shaking off Franks. And Paff gets tired of waiting, and he will step out. Todd led the Cathedral High School team in just about every statistical category offensively. Swings and gets his bat on the ball. Ground ball to Kaminsky at short. Here's his throw, and it is in time to get Paff at first base, and that takes New Ulm out of the inning. But the New Ulm post 132 does lots of damage. They come up with 4 runs on 3 base hits. They take advantage of 2 errors. 1 error in the inning. 1 error in the inning. And they leave 2 men left. And the score at the end of 4.5 is New Ulm 7, State College 5. Well, our speculation is correct. Kurt Forbrook has now entered the game here in the bottom half of the 5th inning and will take over for Wick Wellman in right field, who was lifted for the pinch hitter. So Forbrook, Leslie, and Trawick make up your New Ulm outfield. And Chad Stoll has delivered 2 pitches to Tim Smeal. To John Kamenetsky, the shortstop for Boyertown, or for State College, and has missed them both. And there he comes in with a strike, and it is 2 balls and 1 strike, and Stoll is working very fast, and Chad has been on the bench a long time the last 2 innings, as New Ulm has sent 9 men to the plate once and 8 men the second time. He misses with that pitch, and now it's 3-1. And Chad is real disgusted with himself. He can't quite understand why he's having trouble at the plate. And the pitch is too low for ball 4. And Kamenetsky is on with a walk. That is the 6th off of Stoll. And Jeff Stoll, his brother, will now come out. And I don't know if we will be making a change here or what. Normally if you get Chad Stoll 7 runs, that is usually more than enough. That's usually more than what he needs. There is going to be some activity in the New Ulm bullpen. However, both of the people that are going down to throw are wearing warm-up jackets, and I would assume they will both be right-handers.
Yes, they will.
Probably the Selners, Kevin for sure.
What started out and looked to us like it might be the first pitcher's duel of the day was so for about 3 innings, but then all of a sudden in the 3rd inning,
it's gotten
began to happen, and this is like this afternoon's round.
Well, the first pitch is ball 1 to Todd Irvin, number 9 man in the batting order, playing in right field. He's fly to right, double and scored. And he chokes up to bunt, lays off, and he takes the strike. That cost him. It is 1-1. We go back to the top of the order right after this with Hussey and Smeal, the scheduled hitters. And the pitch is swung on and fouled at the plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Boy, in high school, you get Chad Stoll a 7-run lead, and you might as well put the W up and go home, because you score that many runs for him, and generally that would be enough for him to win.
I think probably the reason that he is unable to do that here, however, is that the competition at the regional level.
Swing and a miss. Boy, did he pull the string on Irvin, and I mean, Irvin had absolutely no chance. There is 1 down, and that is only the 3rd strikeout for Stoll, and again, that's an indication Chad normally averages around 7 or 8, but this State College team very disciplined at the plate, and Stoll has gotten Montresor, Irvin, and Schweitzer tonight, and that's been it.
I think he was also told, go with your curveball.
Here's Hussey, swings and drills it toward center. Leslie on his horse, backing up, still backing up, and he makes the catch. He turned every which way you can out there and finally hauled it in Death Valley, a deep part of the park here at Johnson. It's 4:05 to center. Hussey gave that one a ride. There are 2 down.
I would say that he hit that one close to about 380.
That would be out in a lot of parks. Well, here's Tim Smeal, who's 2 for 3, reached on an air, scored twice, takes the pitch for a call strike. And Stoll is the type of pitcher who doesn't necessarily need the whole park. He can pitch in a small park as well. Pitch is swung on, ground ball to Bloomer, in on the edge of the grass, and Marshall will wave Stoll off, take it unassisted. And Chad finds himself and gets out of trouble here in the 5th inning. He walks the leadoff man, but then leaves him stranded. And after 5, it is New Ulm 7 and State College 5. I'd like to tell you that the winner of this particular ball game will be taking on Midland, Michigan at this same time tomorrow night. That one would be getting underway right around 5 after 8 or so, as did tonight's game. The loser will be going against Aurora, Indiana tomorrow in the 2nd game of the doubleheader. The first game will feature Maynard, Ohio of Hutchinson at 10:05 with the loser ousted. And then Oconomowoc, Wisconsin meets Barrington, Illinois in a winner's bracket game at 5:05. So make your plans to be here at Johnson Park. I guarantee you're going to enjoy yourself. Well, here comes New Ulm. Top half of the 6th, and after New Ulm went basically without a fuss in the first 3 innings, they have been teeing off a little bit here and have scored 7 times in the last 2 innings. Belinda will face Brian Robbie, and the first pitch to him is outside for ball 1. Robbie tonight has hit a line drive to the second baseman Smeal, struck out and reached on an air by the shortstop Kamenetsky, and it is 2-0 now from Belinda. Belinda is on in relief of Schweitzer, who went 4 innings, and New Ulm touched Belinda for 2 runs in that 4-run 5th. And the pitch on the way, swung on and foul back here, and it is 2 balls and 1 strike. In case you missed it today, North Dakota beat St. Paul Jacobson 7-6 in Cape Girardeau, Missouri in the Central Plains tournament, which I'm told, Jim, is really does not have quite the competition that Region 5 does.
Well, that was my impression.
Yep.
And I suppose that varies from year to year. It's possible to have a powerhouse come out of some area.
Yep, for sure. And the pitch is inside for a ball. As a matter of fact, I've got some statistics along that line. Minnesota's had 5 region champions, and I'll tell you about that here in just a second. The pitch is outside, and Robbie works him for a walk. That is number 3 off of Belinda, the 5th off of State College pitching. Richfield in 1943 and 1973 were region champs. New Ulm in 1978 and Edina in 1982 and 83. Chad Stoll stepping in here, by the way, with Robbie getting a lead at first base. Throw to first, and Robbie will dive back in. The 1943 Richfield team and the 1983 Edina team went on to win the World Series. Richfield in 43 won it in Miles, Montana. Edina in 83 won it up in Fargo at North Dakota. Stoll squares around to bunt, lays off as the pitch is way outside. It is 1-0 to Stoll, who's flied to right, walked and scored, and doubled to center and scored. Hutchinson is the 4th state runner-up to be in this tournament from Minnesota. And the Minnesota teams have not fared too well as a runner-up as they throw to first again to check Robbie. As a matter of fact, New Ulm is the only team to go into a region and win a game. Yeah, to throw to first, and again, Robbie getting back. In 1982, Richfield lost to Kokomo, Indiana, 4-3, and to La Crosse, Wisconsin, 9-4 out in Arlington Heights, Illinois. In 83, New Ulm lost to Allen Park, 9-6, and now we're going to get a balk, and Belinda knew it. He knew it. He turns around and looks at Ty Cayley at second base, and he just, Jim, what did he do?
Well, he just
stopped in the middle of the delivery.
In the middle of the delivery.
Yep. Well, you go to sleep, and that puts a big run on second base now. Brian Robbie down at second with nobody out. Stoll squares around to bunt, and the pitch is high. These
he will
two
bunt it also.
Yep.
If he throws it over the plate. They want that runner over to third base because Allen and Schmidt are coming up, and they are going to hit the ball.
Now Chad gets tired of waiting and steps out. Let's go back to 1983 when New Ulm was out in Stevens Point. They beat Allen Park, or they lost to Allen Park 9-6. Came back and pounded Stevens Point 10-2. Lost to Worthington of Ohio 2-0 in Stevens Point. Then in '84, Wilmer the runner-up. As the pitch is outside, Stoll showed bunt and again laid off, and now it is 3-0. In '84, Wilmer lost to Rockport, Indiana 6-4. The host that year, and Newton, Pennsylvania, 14-2. So with Hutchinson's loss today, runner-up teams are 1-6, and the pitch is outside for ball 4, and Stoll is aboard. And so far, New Ulm has been able to handle the top 2 pitchers, if you will, that State College has got. Belinda
is wild.
Is having all kinds of problems.
I just think that all of these pitchers are showing the effects of that 10-day layoff.
Yep, no
without
question.
having thrown.
Well, he just goes from bad to worse now because Aaron Allen is at the plate, and he showed the bunt, laid off, and he took it for a strike. I mean, you're getting into the high rent district, as they like to say, because you've got Allen, Schmidt, and Bloomer coming up here, and you've got guys on base that can run. And Allen tried to bunt, missed. Here's a throw to second base, and Robbie just does get back in. Close play. Shortstop Kamenetsky was there, and Robbie with good speed, and maybe only his speed, got him back in there.
Right. You saw the first example of the catcher taking charge out there. He made a strong throw to second base.
Right on the bag, and I mean, it was close at first, and the pitch on the way, sidearm, way outside. It is 1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, we saw Schweitzer challenge the New Ulm hitters. Belinda came in and struck out Aaron Allen the first time, and it looked like he was going to do the same thing. Now he's nibbling. Pitch is swung on, bounce to the right side. Smeal will go to Kamenetsky for 1. Here's his relay. It is not in time, and moving on to third base is Brian Robbie, and New Ulm now will have runners at the corners. They cut down Chad Stoll. 4-6 for the first out. Robbie at third, Allen on at first, and here is Scott Schmidt. Scott tonight has a fly to center, gotten a base hit to left to drive in a run, and then walked and scored in the 5th.
I believe New Ulm is going to get another run here.
And Schmidt takes the first pitch for a call strike. Just checking RBIs tonight. Stoll has got one. And I also show Schmidt with one. Bloomer's got two. And the pitch on the way is a little nubber toward third. This will be a tough play for the third baseman. Here's Montrose' throw, and he's there and gets him in plenty of time. A little roller. Meanwhile, Robbie came in to score. Sliding into home plate, as is customary for Brian Robbie, but the ball was hit so slowly that Montrose' only play was to first base to get Schmidt, but you got to give Schmidt credit for an RBI. That is number 28 for him and his second tonight.
I think that play right there is a result of our having made a decision 2 years ago after losing to Edina to play what we call down-angle baseball. And we decided in 84 and 85 that any time there's a ground ball hit to the left side or the shortstop side with one out, runners at the corners, we're going.
Marshall Bloomer swings and pops one foul on the right field line, but it kind of falls in no man's land out there between Tim Smeal, the second baseman, Todd Irvine, the right fielder, and Todd Stoner, the first baseman. Keith Winschittel has got an RBI tonight for New Ulm, as does Russ Trawig, who has two. So New Ulm needs contribution from everywhere in the lineup to be effective, and they're getting it tonight. Everybody is kind of chipping in here a little bit. One strike now to Marshall Bloomer. New Ulm with a 3-run lead here. And the pitch is low and in the dirt and outside, and a nice stop by Franks. Now, normally you'd be saying to yourself, hey, 8-5 in the sixth inning, things are looking pretty good. But don't forget, we're going 9 innings here in this particular ball game, and it's early. It's not over yet. Pitch is swung on and hit high in the air toward center. Hussey drifting toward right, and he reaches up, makes the catch, and Bloomer retired on the fly to center. But New Ulm comes up with one more big run without the benefit of a hit. They use a couple of walks and a balk to score the one, to score the run, and there are 2 men left on base, and the score at the end of 5.5 is New Ulm 8, State College 5. Well, they've announced the attendance here tonight for session number 2, 1,053 here at Johnson Park. You add the 355 for session number 1, it gives you a grand total of 1,406, taking in day 1 of some of the best American Legion baseball in the country, Region 5, Great Lakes.
If New Ulm wins this game tonight, you will see probably an even larger crowd here tomorrow evening.
Here comes State College down by 3. Todd Stoner, the big first baseman, takes the first pitch for ball 1. Stoner, a right-handed batter, swings at the fastball, doesn't get it, and the count now 1 ball and 1 strike.
You just gave the statistics, and we just got handed the totals, which you already gave.
And the pitch is swung on, ground ball down to third. Winschittel will backhand it, and he'll throw across the diamond, low throw. Bloomer picks it up, and Stoner's retired 5-3, if you will. Well, that'll bring up Chris Franks, the catcher. Struck out swinging, walked and singled his first in his last at bat. He got a base hit that picked up Tim Smeal. State College getting 3 in the third, 2 in the fourth, and it is so important for a pitcher after his team gets him some runs to come out and shut the opposing team down in the next inning. It's so big from a psychological standpoint. Strike 1 called to Franks, and Stoll was able to do that in the 5th after New Ulm got him the lead in the top half of the inning. Pitch inside. Stoll coming inside for one of the few times he's done it tonight. 1 ball, 1 strike. I understand now that the attendance for the first session was 304. Before I left the park today, they announced that at 355. The pitch is outside, 2 balls and 1 strike. So 304 for session 1, 1053 session 2 gives you 1357 for your total attendance. Any way you look at it, it's a nice crowd. It's 3 balls and 1 strike now. They tell me that Hutchinson brought about 800 people down here for the game just prior. And the pitch is outside. Oh, no, it's a call strike. It caught the outside corner. 3-2 now to the catcher, Chris Franks. On his way to Penn State, swings and hits one high in the air to center, but right at Leslie, who's just got to back up a couple of steps, and there's 2 down.
Stoll is going back to his curveball, and if he establishes that and gets it low, you're going to see a lot of ground balls hit to New Ulm's infield, and that would be to their advantage.
What kind of stamina does Chad have, Jim, in the way that he was not pressed beyond 7 innings in high school?
I think you will find him getting pumped up, and he'll come up with the stamina.
Schellenberger tried to check his swing, and apparently he did. It is ball 1 to the right-handed batting left fielder. Schellenberger walked and was left at third his first time. Got on by a fielder's choice and picked up an RBI when he scored Smeal as the pitch missing low to him. It is 1-1. And then he reached on a fielder's choice once again in the fourth. Nobody in this State College batting order, with the exception of Smeal, has done any amount of damage tonight. And there is a strike called. Nice pitch by Chad Stoll. And, of course, Schellenberger does not agree with it, but he put that fastball right on the outside corner, and I think Schellenberger, who is a former catcher himself, thought it might have been a little outside. And the pitch is low. 2 balls and 2 strikes. We told you that Midland, Michigan is the only team. I'll make that 3 balls and 1 strike. 3-1. Pitch is swung on, grounded on 1 hop to Schmidt, who plays the room service hop, and then he throws him out, and that will take care of State College in the 6th inning. 3 up and 3 down. And Stoll has retired the last 6 men he's faced. And at the end of 6, it is New Ulm 7, State College 5. Well, we have 6 in the book, and New Ulm has got themselves 8 runs. I believe I said 7 before we went to the break. As you can tell, that the players aren't the only ones affected by a 10-day break. I'm having a good time here tonight, too. New Ulm, 8 runs, 6 hits, 1 error. They've left 5. State College has got 5 runs, 7 hits, 3 errors. They have stranded 9. And this is top half of inning number 7. And New Ulm, the scheduled hitters are Russ Trawig, Keith Winschittel, and Jim Leslie, and they would be hitters 6, 7, and 8. And Stan Belinda is the man they're facing on in relief of Doug Schweitzel, the starter. In the first pitch, a wild pitch to the backstop, ball 1.
New Ulm is showing how important they feel a win in this first game is by sending Schiesel, I see, going down to the bullpen, and Hulke has been down there last inning warming up, so they're probably going to come with those people if they get into trouble.
And the pitch on the way. Swung on, hit high in the air into right field. It looks as though Todd Irvin's drawing a bead, and he makes the catch out there in shallow right field. And Trawig skies out. There's 1 down. And here is Keith Winschittel, who's flied to center, taking a called third strike and grounded out unassisted, but did manage to pick up an RBI when Marshall Bloomer scored in the 5th inning, the 4th run in that frame. Well, this is no time to mess around. You can't plan for tomorrow. You got to come with what's going on today. As they say, you can't go to the bank until you get off work. So this is time for. This first game is so important. You know, you can worry about your pitching later. And in talking to Jeff Stoll this week, he felt very confident about his pitching. And the pitch outside. And Belinda now is behind in the count 2-0 because, you know, you've got guys like Stoll and Schiesel who have been there before. Hulke, who has proven that he can win in a state tournament. You know, and right now, as the pitch is inside to Winschittel 3-0, the tournament schedule is such that no team will have to play 2 games in 1 day. So you figure if you can get 9 innings out of everybody, you'd have your rotation in pretty good shape by Saturday. There is ball 4, and Winschittel is aboard on 4 pitches, and pitching is the name of the game, even though we haven't seen that yet today.
Walks have just played such a significant role in all the runs that have been scored this afternoon, and there have been a ton of them, and the way this is going, there's probably going to be a few more scored in this ball game.
Well, Jim, that's 7 walks now off of State College pitching, 5 off of Belinda. Here is Jim Leslie, who is hitless in 2 trips with a walk, and he swings and fouls the pitch back to the backstop.
Leslie is swinging with pretty good confidence up there. He's looked really tough at the plate tonight.
Infield at double play depth with 1 out, and Winschittel on at first, who's not a threat to steal. And the pitch is swung on, fouled at the plate, and Leslie, a little unhappy with himself, felt that that was his pitch, and he didn't get a good shot at it. Midland, Michigan, who is the team that the winner of this game would face, is the only team back in the tournament from last year. They beat Racine, Wisconsin 5-0 in Steubenville, Ohio 6-3, and we're looking pretty good. And the pitch is inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. They had won their first 2 games, and everything was looking rosy, but then they lost to Mount Prospect, Illinois 9-5, and eventual champion Rockport, Indiana 19-11. And the pitch is swung on and fouled back and out of play. So, as you can see, you know, it's important to win your first couple of ball games, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're in the driver's seat.
Well, usually when you get down to throwing 3, 4, 5 pitchers, they obviously aren't of the caliber on a high school team or a Legion team that 1 and 2 are, and so you're going to find probably bigger scores as the tournament goes on. Yet they've been very big today as well.
Winshittle with a small lead at first. Belinda comes in sidearm, and Leslie fouls it to the screen. 1 and 2. Well, I don't mean to get on New Ulm's bandwagon here, because I believe in giving credit where it is due, but I saw a lot of pitchers today stay in the game a heck of a lot longer than they would have if they had some pitching. There were some guys that were in there when they probably shouldn't have been, but it was like saying, hey, we don't have anything else. And I think New Ulm has got the best pitching in the tournament. Here's a ground ball through the hole into left field, a base hit. Winshittle will round second and hang on there, and Jim Leslie has got a base hit, and New Ulm has got 7 hits.
He's looked very strong at the plate tonight. He's up there attacking the ball. He gets the fastball. He's getting the bat on it. He's fouled a few off. He has not seen a lot of breaking pitches because I think Belinda relies on his fastball, but it is not overpowering.
Well, here is Kurt Forbrook, and this is our first opportunity to see Kurt tonight. He entered the game last inning. And he squared around the bunt, lays off. Here's a throw to second base, and Winshittle gets back in as Kamenitsky, the shortstop, had to dive toward third base to flag that one down, as again Frank's trying to throw in behind the runner.
I think you will probably see Forbrook bunt him up with Robbie, the leadoff hitter, coming up, who's a very good contact hitter, and he's due.
Forbrook is 2 for 24, 0 for 83 with an average 0.83, and he takes the strike call. And it is 1 ball and 1 strike. But in getting back to the pitching situation here, and apparently now we've seen 2 of State College's best pitchers, and I think New Ulm has got the pitching that can probably win this. Here's a bunt toward first. First baseman juggles the ball. It is picked up by Stoner, and he throws to the second baseman Smeal covering, but the sacrifice is executed perfectly. It'll go 1-4, and Winshittle moves to third. Leslie goes to second. 1 man out for Brian Robbie.
This is, as I've told you before, and even at the state tournament, this is one of the kids that I would like to see come up for New Ulm in this clutch situation. I suspect that he will hit the ball hard. And if he finds a gap or a hole, we could end up with a 10-5 lead.
Score that last play 3-4, by the way, on the sacrifice. 3-4. Here's Brian Robbie, who has lined out, struck out, reached on an air, walked, and scored twice. And the first pitch in there for a strike, and Brian taken all the way. It is 0-1. On deck, Chad Stoll. 2 on, 2 out. Top of the 7th, New Ulm 8, State College, Pennsylvania 5. And the pitch is swung on and pushed toward center, but Hussey is right there, and that will take care of New Ulm as Hussey makes the catch, and Hussey has played center field very well tonight for State College, Pennsylvania. New Ulm threatens, can't score. 1 hit, 2 left, 6.5. New Ulm 8 and State College 5. Well, for those of you who may be making your plans, the 1986 Minnesota State Legion Tournament will be played down in Marshall. The 1986 Region 5 Great Lakes Tournament will be held in St. Paul in August, sponsored by Rosetown Memorial Post 542. And if you're interested in where the World Series is in 1986, that's in Rapid City, South Dakota. This year, there will be going out to Kokomo, Indiana. State College coming up here, bottom half of the 7th inning. New Ulm 8, State College 5. State College has had 2 leads in this game, 3-0 at the end of 3 and 5-3 at the end of 4. First pitch, inside, low, ball 1. And this is Stan Belinda. Our first look at him. Belinda swings a decent bat from what I am told, and a strike call. 1 ball and 1 strike. Belinda wears number 21. And he swings and hits one back up the box into center field, a base hit. So Belinda helping his own cause. That is hit number 8 for State College, and their first since the 4th inning.
That doesn't bode well. It seems like every time that leadoff hitter has gotten on for either team, there have been some runs scored. And, of course, the way the day has gone, would be indicative of what has happened already.
Now, Belinda has got above average speed. And State College is not aggressive on the base paths other than to say they are good base runners. Now, Dave Montresor is the next scheduled hitter, and they are telling the right fielder, Kurt Forbrook, to come in a couple of steps. And we are going to get a pinch runner, and we have seen the end of Belinda. But I can't see the gentleman's number. So as soon as he turns around or we get a little help here from the public address, we will tell you who is running for State College. But Belinda is out of the game. Now that is strange to see a pitcher get the base hit for you, and then to pull him if he gets on. I would think that unless they just felt that they had nobody on the bench that swung the bat better, which could be, but I was led to believe they've got some decent depth. Well, we're not going to get... here we go.
I'm also somewhat surprised, although he did get hit hard, to see teams use 3 pitchers in this game unless they absolutely have to.
Well, I'm not sure, but I thought I heard them say Jim Farber is pinch running. Anyway, second pitch to Montresor. 2 balls and no strikes. I believe it is number 3, Jim Farber. Pitch is swung on. Ground ball towards short. Schmidt to Robbie for 1. He has to pivot and does not get the throw off. And the base runner, Farber, came in, and I think he may have caught Brian on the back of the right heel, because Brian came up hopping a little bit, and Brian has had a tough night down there. He was taken out rather hard earlier in the game. And this time, when he took the throw from Schmidt, he was almost facing left field, and it was very difficult for him to pivot and get a double play attempt. Strike call to John Kamenetsky, the shortstop.
That was a very fine stop once again by Schmidt, who went deep behind the bag at second base to stop it. Robbie was, as you said, facing left field. He would have had to make a quarter turn to make that throw to first, and he was a little slow in getting out of the way of the runner sliding in.
Well, I think I know now why, as the pitch is in for a strike called, and quickly it is 0-2, I think I know now why Farber pinch ran. That may have been the situation to try to avoid the double play, because they would have doubled Belinda. And the pitch is outside. It is 1 ball and 2 strikes. Kamenetsky is the number 8 man in the batting order. So we will see a new pitcher, and the pitch is outside. Allen can't find it as the ball rolls down the runway a little bit. And moving up to second base is Dave Montrose, and it will be scored as a wild pitch. Well, there are one of 3 candidates that we could see for State College here coming out in the 8th inning. Swing and a miss. Boy, he had Kamenetsky completely fooled on that off-speed pitch. Kamenetsky wanted to hold up, then decided it may have looked too good to pass up, and then when he finally did get a swing, it really wasn't very good, and Stoll has got his 4th strikeout.
He's gotten tougher as the ball game has gone into the 7th and 8th innings, or 7th inning, I guess, and it's nice to see that.
Well, here's Irvin, the number 9 man in the batting order, and don't let that position fool you. He's 1 for 3 with a fly ball to right, a double to the gap in the 4th inning, and he took a call 3rd strike. 1 ball and no strikes. This kid hit a grand slam in the state tournament, so he is dangerous. And the pitch is outside and low. 2 balls and no strikes. You don't want to put him on here, because that would bring the tying run to the plate, and you never want to be in that type of situation. So he wants to make it happen here, and he wastes 1 outside. It is 3-0.
Saw a lot of left-handed hitters in earlier ball games today, and in this game, there's not a left-handed hitter in either lineup.
And the pitch on the way. Strike call. Boy, that one caught the black. 3-1. If Irvin would reach, he'd go back to the top of the order to Scott Hussey. And he would represent the tying run. Sidearm, pitch swung on, foul down the 3rd base line as Stoll came with the fastball.
I think in this situation, again, Stoll is gaining a little confidence. I think you'll see the breaking pitch here and possibly a strikeout.
Well, now, he got Irvin with the breaking pitch the last time, and you got to believe Irvin might be guessing right along with him. Let's see. Fastball swung on, a little pop-up on the infield. Chad Stoll says, I'll take it, standing right on the foul line on 3rd base. He makes the catch, and that will take care of State College in the 7th inning. 1 hit, 1 man left. At the end of 7, it is New Ulm 8, State College 5.